Moving right along, CIS 276 to Chapter 3, Expressions and Interactivity. Here, we worked more with the CIN object, just as a reminder, because I know I have said this about maybe 1,000 times. And even just this week, when I was working with students, when we were working on some of the challenge problems for Chapter 4, there was an open issue where a student was unable to get a username for something, and that was because the username contained spaces. Remember, the CIN object works with cardinal data types. The CIN object works with integers, floating point, doubles, chars, and bools. It does not work flawlessly with string type variables. When you are using the string, use the get line. And remember, there's an entire video all the way back in the chapter 3 materials about the get line function if you need a refresher there. Here in chapter 3, we also talked about mathematical expressions, finally being able to do a little bit of math, which, remember, again, is the core of what C++ prefers to do. So things like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. We talked about things like the order of operations and precedence. So things that still potentially ring way, way back in, the library of your mind for PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtraction. Those things still govern the laws of math here inside of C++. We also have, and I've started to see some of what is called combined expression in some of your in your developments, and that is great. Remember, if I have so this is combined assignment. If I have a variable and I want to do something to that variable, I want to do math to that variable, I want to add another variable's value to that. There's two different ways that we can represent that. We could say variable equals variable 1, or how's this? Variable 1 equals variable 1 plus variable 2. That's one way to do that. We could also use what is called combined assignment there. We could say variable 1 plus equals variable 2. When we do that, it's the same thing as saying variable 1 equals variable 1 plus variable 2. It's just more compact. So we can do that with add, subtract, multiply, divide, and it works really, really well if you just embrace it and go with it. So that is combined assignment there. Here in chapter 3, really the rest of things that we worked on exclusively here, because again, we worked a lot with strings, which do show up here in chapter 3 as a feature, but we worked with them in chapter 2 pretty extensively as well. So that way there was a lot of continuity there for string, 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 because that's what you as beginning developers really enjoy seeing is C++ using a language that you use, strings, all the time. Here we also looked at formatting output. So remember, formatting output are things like set precision. It's things like fixed. It is things like show point for the most part. It is also things, though, like using escape sequences, like \t for tab and \n for new line. Those things show up here in chapter 3 as well. And honestly, looking at all of your developments, I think that most people have come around to really embracing those. So 3 worked on mathematical expressions in interactivity, and I think by now, those have become second nature to you.